My first Pokemon IRL tournament experience. You know what's really funny? I have never played the Pokemon card game. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Even as a kid. Like, I chose Yu-Gi-Oh! And I never looked back. And then later in life, I tried Magic while I was in college. And later in my adult life, around the time I was about to be married, and I think even a little bit during my marriage, I played Magic, right? Whether that be Standard or Commander. And a little before that, I played like some Modern because I happened to open a bunch of Modern Horizons, had a good amount of the staples, and could play the game. But I never tried Pokemon, really, truly, ever. I don't believe so. Maybe even my older brothers didn't play because I only ever remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think the reason for that is because that's what my brothers played. Of course, when you're the youngest brother, you kind of just play whatever your brothers play or whatever they hand down to you. So I played Pokemon Red, I played Pokemon Crystal, I played the video games, I played Fire Red, I played Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Diamond and Pearl, right? I played the Pokemon games, but never the TCG. And I just happened to find out that one of my favorite Pokemons wasn't standard. One of three, by the way, and they're all in standard. So I just picked the wrong fucking deck. But that's okay. One of three, I guess it's probably better of the two that I really wanted to make, and we'll talk about that in a second. Pokemon is in standard, and that is Alakazam. So I decided to ask around, because I have a lot of friends who play Pokemon and have wanted me to play Pokemon forever, if anyone had Alakazam cards. And my friend B came in clutch and gave me most of the deck for Alakazam. Like, most of the cards that I have are because of my friend B. So shout outs to B. She's awesome. And without her, I wouldn't have ever tried a competitive Pokemon. I played one match before a tournament, and then in that tournament, I think I went 2-2 or 3 or 1-3 or 2-2. I think I went 2-2. And my last loss was to like an missed energy that I couldn't get rid of because the guy was playing a Mega Absol, one of my other favorite Pokemon, Absol, an Absol pile that was like kind of a control deck-ish thing with a bunch of normals with really high stats, and missed energy, which stops Pokemon from having extra effects on top of their attack. And that's what Alakazam is all about with its attack powerful hand. So I kind of want to get into the list real quick. And then I'll talk about like how it felt to play the game. So I guess we'll do the list first. So I'll just switch over to this screen and show you guys the list. If I did this correctly, these should be 3 Abra. So we'll go through the Pokemon, the energy, the supporters, the trainer cards. I'm new to Pokemon. You'll have to pardon me. I've played maybe 8 games ever of Pokemon. So we're on 3 Abra. And the full evolutionary line, 3 Kadabra. When you evolve Abra into Kadabra, you can activate its effect of Psychic Draw to draw 2 cards. And that's important because of Alakazam's ability. And we're also on 3 Alakazam. I've seen some people play 4 Abra, 2 Kadabra, 4 Alakazam, because you also play Rare Candy in the list, which lets you skip the Kadabra, right? But if you go Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam, you can set up a full bench of like double Abra, double Dunsparce, you get a bunch of draws. When you evolve into Alakazam, whether it be with a Rare Candy or not, if you evolve this Pokemon, oops, I almost dropped my mic, you get to use Psychic Draw to draw 3 cards instead of to draw 2. So if you're doing the cheat line, you're trading 2 cards in hand, which is the Rare Candy and the Alakazam, for 3 cards. But if you're doing the regular line, then you draw 2 cards off of Kadabra. The next turn, you'll draw 3 cards off the Alakazam. And the reason why that's important is because you're the only attacker in the entire deck, outside of like Phantom and Edge cases, is Alakazam. And this card's attack costs 1 Psychic. It's called Powerful Hand. You place 2 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon for each card in your hand. So 5 cards is 100 damage, 10 cards is 200 damage, 15 cards is 300 damage. And I think that those are, 280 is an important number. 220 is an important number, kills Phesandipides, and 300 or 280, let's say 300 are all very important numbers. So 15, 11, and 4. But you want to trade this card 2 for 1. You want to be killing EXs and Megas with this so that you're taking 3 prize turns or 2 prize turns when they're taking 1 prize turns. Hopefully, because they can snipe your bench, and that does indeed happen a lot. For the other Pokemon in the deck, not an attacker, but probably the most powerful support Pokemon, 3 Dunsparce. This card seems like butt by itself, and it is. We're playing one of the Find a Friend one, which I've never had to use the Find a Friend effect, and I don't know why I was so focused on it. And 2 of the Free Retreat. Regular Dunsparce costs 1 to retreat. The new Dunsparce costs 3 to retreat, costs 0 to retreat, but it has 60 HP instead of 70. So both these die pretty quick, pretty early of getting sniped off the bench. But free retreat is very important, just in case this ever gets stuck in the active, or they try to put it in the active to keep you off of a prize turn or something. Then the 3 the Dunsparce, which basically stops that from mattering at all anyway, because its ability, Runaway Draw, where you can activate this ability, draw 3 cards, then shuffle this and anything attached to it into the deck, including energies, including the basics that it comes off of. So you shuffle back in the Dunsparce, and any energy attached, which is relatively important because you usually try to attach an enriching energy off of it, which is right here. The last Pokemon are all supporters of some kind. You don't really ever want to attack with them. You can't really attack with them outside of, I guess, Fan Rotom and this card, Pheasantipity, which hopefully you never get the 3 energy. But Pheasantipity, just if one of your Pokemon was knocked out, you can activate this ability while it's on the bench or the active to draw 3 cards, which is just helpful with a card like Alakazam. Very important. Fan Rotom lets you get 3 normals from your bench with less than 100 HP. 3 normal Pokemon. They don't even have to be stage 1s. They just need to be normal. But the only real target is Dunsparce. I play 3 Dunsparce. Fan Rotom will get you all 3 for free. It's the same thing as like Buddy Buddy Poffin. But Buddy Buddy Poffin also gets you Abras, which is very important. Then we play the 1 Shaman. It's a Metacall. The 1 Bidoof, another Metacall. Itchy Pollen is a very good attack. Doesn't cost you any energy. Keeps your opponent off of items. And then the 1 Psyduck. Also a Metacall. Beats like the Duskmorn, Bunny Bomb deck. Any deck that's using like the Duskmorn combo to like damage benched Pokemon. Both of these are very good at that. Shaman and Psyduck. Very, very important. There's also other Metacalls in there too. The last of the Pokemon things, even though, like I said, we only really have 3 attackers, 4 if you count the Fan Rotom, is the energies. And as you see there, we're playing 1 enriching energy, which just draws you more cards. This is considered a basic energy, but when you attach it from your hand, you can immediately draw 4 cards, which is very powerful. You're trading this card for a better than a Pot of Greed. This is a Graceful Charity without discarding. Like Yu-Gi-Oh players could never. Like if you could just like normal summon a monster and draw 3 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, you'd play 5. You'd cheat. You'd play as many of it in your deck as you can. You wouldn't just play the 3. This is a one of. You can only play 1 of these special energies and only 1 type of special energy, I think. I don't know all of the rules of it, but I'm only playing the 1. Because that's what I was told I could do. And then 4 Psychic energies. I've even thought about playing 3 Psychic, 1 Jet, or just 3 Psychic. These are just basic energies. They were commons. I want to get shiny ones at some point. But yeah, because Alakazam only is a one energy attacker, and it has such high, it has the potential to do, you could do 400 with it, really, truly. I've had turns where I've had 18 cards in hand, and if I just drew 1 more card, or drew enriching energy, or had a runaway draw with Dunsparce, I would have been up to 20 cards. And yeah, so you could easily like probably play 3 of this. It's just kind of hard to search it without some of your supporters, and you don't want to have to be stuck on a supporter when you want to be able to like boss's order or something, right? So that is the full Pokemon and energy lineup. Next we'll move into the supporters. Supporters are very strange. All the supporters in Pokemon are like really buff. I've never read cards that seem dumber than supporters in a card game, but they all also have like the restriction of you can only activate 1 supporter per turn and only once that turn. So if you activate 1 supporter, you're done with supporters for turn. So sequencing is very important. Knowing when to use your supporter, when to not use your supporter, what supporter is the most important for that turn you are trying to map out, and maybe even the next turn. Super duper important. So the first one we're playing is Hilda. I think Hilda is really good. It searches you any evolution Pokemon and an energy. This is almost always grabbing Alakazam enriching energy or Dunsparce enriching energy. Almost always. Every single time. Because you want to be able to draw into more cards. So those 2 cards draw you into cards. If you have a Dunsparce on your bench already, or a Dunsparce on your bench already, this will get you to Dunsparce, and it will get you enriching energy because that will see you 7 cards deeper into your deck. Very, very powerful. The next one is the newest support card, I think, for the deck, which is Dawn. Dawn searches you 1 basic, 1 stage 1, and 1 stage 2, and they don't have to be on the same evolutionary line. You could grab Abracadabra Alakazam, or you could grab Pheasantipity to Dunsparce Alakazam, if that's exactly what you need to be able to draw cards with the Dunsparce, draw cards with Pheasantipity, and Alakazam into Rare Candy, right? If you already have an Abra on the bench. This card is super duper juiced, very good. I was like trying to play 4, but I really just don't have the room for it. The last of them are all 1-ofs. For support, we're playing 1 Tulip, which puts any combination of Psychic Pokemon or basic psychic energy from your discard pile back into your hand. 1 Bill's Transfer. You look at the top 8, any Pokemon you find in there, you just put them into your hand. This can draw you 8 cards. It's very unlikely. I've resolved this for 5 cards and like killed something I had no business killing and got 3 prizes off it. It was really funny. 3 bosses order, and these are all disruption pieces. So Turo's Scenario, which will, I guess, kind of heal your Pokemon. You can like take back a Fez that like they tried to damage and miskilled or whatever. It's like your highest health Pokemon, or just like remove it from the field so that it's not a liability and gives them like a 2-prize turn that they could normally take, or even a 3-prize turn. Like they can kill your active with something weak and then do a bunch of damage counters to your back Pokemon in the Fez, or vice versa. They move something to the back, like they kill your Fan Rotom and your Fez. That's 3 prizes in 1 turn. Turo Scenario kind of stops that. And there was a game in tournament where I should have Turo Scenario and it would have won me the game, and I just didn't think about it, right? I'm so new to the game. And then 3 bosses order, which lets you move your opponent's Pokemon from active to bench, which is really good. So if you need to kill something quick, fast, in a hurry, or they're trying to protect something, or there's something that's too big, you can just like try to trap them. Trapping is really cool, but mostly I just used it to like beat over big stuff. Yes, I have 2 of the same. You look like you got white people hands. I don't know what that means. Hello. Next, we'll get into the, there's only a few of these, so we'll get into the stadiums. The stadiums are interesting. I think the stadiums are probably the coolest part of the deck. We play 2 Artisan, which gets us any basic Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box. So it gets us Abra, it gets us Dunsparce, and it gets us Fan Rotom, I believe. No, it doesn't get us Fan Rotom. It can get us Abra or Dunsparce, which are like the main engine pieces of the deck. And like I like that shit, so I play 2 of it. Battle Cage is like a meta call. It prevents all damage counters being placed on benched Pokemon of yours and your opponent's by the effects of Pokemon and abilities your opponent has. So this is just to stop like the Dusknorns, the Monkey Dories, things like that are trying to go spread. Any spread deck that's putting damage counters specifically, not damaging. Battle Cage helps clear that up. I almost just want to play the 2 instead of the 3, but stadium bumping is really important. So I play 3, so if they bump my stadium, I have an extra 5. Stadiums seemed like the right number, but if I cut a Battle Cage, I'd have room for another Dawn, and that was like the only thing that I could find room for. Lastly, we're playing a giant fucking pile of items, which feels really bad because if you get B-Dude, you can't use any of these, right? So the first one we're playing is for Buddy Buddy Poffin. Buddy Buddy Poffin is crazy. This card is fucking juiced. You get to search for any two basic Pokemon with 70 or less HP. I don't know if it's 70 or less or just 70. Yeah, 70 or less HP. Put them onto your bench and then shuffle your deck. So this will get out an Abra plus a Fan Rotom on your first turn, an Abra or a Dunsparce, or 2 Dunsparces, 2 Abras if you already have Fan Rotom to get the Dunsparces. This card is fucking juice. This card is crazy. It like speeds up the consistency of the deck massively. This is like the most powerful item in the deck, and I don't think it should be played at any number other than 4. Like if you're not playing 4, I feel like you're trolling. Shout out to the one like Premier League one or whatever, the Pokemon League one. Very cool. I think my friend gave me that one. Then I'm playing 3 Great Ball. I wanted 4 this effect, so I'm playing 3 Great Ball to search for non-basics, or to dig for non-basics, and 1 Nest Ball. 1 Nest Ball because it'll immediately get me Fezandipity, and this is Fezandipity is really, I think Fezandipity is super important. So just being able to get to Fezandipity or get to the Pokemon that hedge and shut down the other decks like Shaman or Psyduck seems really important. So 3 effects that let me dig 7 cards, which is important, and 1 of something that immediately gets me to what I need on the spot, hopefully, right? Unless it's prized, because that is one of the downsides of Pokemon. Lastly, for the cards we're playing multiples of, oh, that's not true. Last of the cards we're playing multiples of that are like consistency pieces is 3 Rare Candy. Rare Candy kind of like speeds it up, almost makes it feel like a combo deck. It lets you take your basic and turn it into a stage 2 immediately, which is fucking crazy. So you can go like Abra into Alakazam immediately, and if you have other draw cards, you could easily be killing something on turn 2. You could easily kill like a 260 HP Pokemon on turn 2, getting a 2-prize turn and accelerating your accelerating the pace of the game, which is really good. But that's it's kind of scary to do sometimes if you're not fully set up first, because it means that you're not taking into account that your opponent is going to immediately kill your Alakazam. It's only 140 HP. It is going to die. Then we have for Recursion, 2 Night Stretcher. It gets back a basic energy of any kind or a Pokemon of any kind, right? It doesn't even need to be like a basic or anything. Very cool. Sacred Ash. This shuffles in 5 Pokemon from your discard back into your deck. This is really good for when you need to reload on your Dunsparces. The Dunsparces, if they're being sniped off the bench, and you need those draw powers. You want to put those Dunsparces back, put the Abras back. Maybe even put something like the Fezandipity back if they kill it. I think all these are really important, but mostly I'd put back like things that you can get with Buddy Buddy Poffin. So Abras and Dunsparces, very, very crucial. Lastly, we're playing a couple 1-ofs, and then these are all like disruption cards mostly. So 2 E-Hammer, I've seen lists with 1, I've seen lists with 2. I hate mist energy, so I think you're just supposed to play 2 of this card. I played 1 during the tournament, and I died. I lost because my opponent had a mist energy on a Pokemon that I could have killed if I didn't have this. If I had a second one, because it was Mega Absol. He attacked and discarded it out of my hand, and then the next turn discarded like a boss's order. So I needed to take like a 3-prize turn into a 2-prize 2-prize turn, or a 3-prize 3-prize 3-prize, and I needed all 5 of my outs for that. Right? I need 3 boss's order and at least 1 enhanced hammer. Sorry. And yeah, this just like discards a special energy, which is like really important for getting rid of some of those pesky energies your opponent has on their Pokemon that have like negative or like floodgate styled effects. 1 EXP share. This lets you move that energy from a Pokemon that's about to die to something else, right? Like if you have like 1 Abra on bench, you're going to evolve into an Alakazam, or one Kadabra on bench, you're going to evolve into an Alakazam. You put the EXP share on it, so when your Alakazam dies in the main zone, you immediately get that energy. You don't have to worry about trying to draw through the deck to get to 1, wasting your supporter to get to 1, because it really feels bad when you have to Hilda to get to an energy. And instead, you could have gotten like 2 better things off of that, like the enriching energy in the Dunsparce, or a boss's order to kill something that's weaker but still gives you the same number of prizes. And lastly, Countercatcher, because Countercatcher is basically like the 4th copy of boss's order, but it's a little more situational. You have to have less prizes than your opponent. So this is really hard because sometimes you take like a 3-prize turn with Alakazam and then you're off prizing the whole game, like the whole game. You take an Alakazam, you take a 1 3-prize and a 2-prize, and then you're stuck on 1 prize, and you can't activate Countercatcher, and it feels really bad because you're always going to lose 1 prizes, almost always. And I kind of want to cut this, but I can't. Like, I heard this card's like way too important. It's like a $2 or $3 card or something. It's rotating out, but as long as this deck still exists in Standard and this card exists, I'm going to play it because it'll feel good. It'll feel good when it resolves. Right, if they like kill your first Alakazam, but you already had a second one set up on bench or whatever, and they snipe something else small off bench that's not a Kadabra, because Kadabra's a little heavier, harder to snipe off bench. Say they kill your Bidoof, your Psyduck, they can't call it Psyduck, your Bidoof off bench or something, or a Dunsparce off bench, then you can just Countercatcher because they took 2 prizes. And you only took 1 or something. You killed like a fan Rotom early in the game, and you can swap in something that's a support Pokemon that's an EX, like a Latias, or a I think I talked about another one, Pheasantipity. Those are like the 2 biggest support Pokemon I see all the time. Kill one of those, snag 2 prizes. Feels good. That's the full list. That's the whole deck. It's 60 cards. I'm not used to a game where it's best of 1 and there's no side deck, because even Magic the Gathering has side deck. But the game's really cool. I like Pokemon. I'm having a blast. I played against the shop owner the other day. I sauced the shit out of her. I hope she doesn't ban me, truly, because it was like really fun playing against her. And I plan on going to Pokemon tournaments at least once a week. I'm putting a couple more fun decks that aren't so meta. This is like off meta. It beats the best deck in the room, and it has like some decent matchups against some of the other decks like Flareon and stuff. But I don't necessarily think that it's like the best deck. It would probably be really good versus Absol as well, if Absol wasn't playing 3 Mist Energy and you only have 2 Enriching Hammer. So if they never see their second their second Mist Energy, and you see 2 Enhanced Hammers, you're probably good. I think that matchup's not too unbearable, even with their Lively Stadium, which like buffs their monsters or buffs their Pokemon. They're I guess they are monsters. They're pocket monsters indeed. So, but we'll do a test hand. I kind of want to show you guys like an optimal setup, but we'll just work with what we got. And then I'll talk about like how I feel with this game in comparison to Yu-Gi-Oh! Before we start playing TCG Pocket. Yeah, I'm yapping. If you guys aren't here to hear me yapping, that's too fucking bad. I love yapping. So I finally am doing it again. It's been a long time since I've just like chatted, just talked, just fucking made so much noise for no reason. That's a fan Rotom. I shouldn't actually be looking at the cards as I'm shuffling. Oops, my bad. I'm actually just trying to look over at my OBS, but it's so zoomed in I could see cards because, I've been doing this for a long time. Playing card games, that is. So, once again, draw 7. One other thing, I think I'll talk about it after, but there is like one major thing I really dislike about the Pokemon TCG, and it feels awful. It feels terrible. It makes me really mad. So I guess we'll put Shaman in active. We don't really have a choice. And Fez in the back. Well, okay. We'll leave Fez in hand for now because it's always stupid to put it in active before you have to. Let me see if turning on this light will make it less blurry. No, this light is actually making it even more blurry. That's unfortunate. I think that this camera is just worse, but it has a ring light on it. So, and then we'll prize 6. I think that just gave away what I hate the most about Pokemon TCG. And then we'll flip. And if we played out like a first turn or whatever, Oh, with a great ball. Yeah, that's not bad. We'd play the pheasant. We'd buddy buddy. Buddy buddy gets us one Abra, one Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom is exactly 70. You know, Fan Rotom isn't like the worst backup attacker ever. Assault Landing's pretty good if there's a stadium out. It does 70. So you can kill opposing Fan Rotoms. You can kill like Hoot Hoot, Pidgeys, like little one prize things that haven't got to evolve yet or are supporters in the making. I think that's pretty good. And then we'll Fan Rotom for hopefully 3 Dunsparce. Smile. As long as none are prized. There we go. Wow, 3 Dunsparce. Look at that. Yeah, you almost want double Abra on bench. So, like, I have to decide here. Because, I mean, it's only 5 on bench, right? If I want to play 2 Dunsparces and hope they can't kill this Abra. Or if I want to use the Great Ball to get an Abra. And I think the answer actually is you just play the double Dunsparce. You just play the Furry Dunsparce, and then you play both Furry Dunsparces. And that's a full bench of 5 with a good number of cards in the hand here. This like doesn't feel that bad. I've seen worse. And the reason why I'm saving the Buddy Buddy is because if I double the Dunsparce next turn, then I can put 2 Dunsparces back on bench. So this would be like a pretty decent first turn. Generally, you really want 2 Abras, but I drew Fez and Fan Rotom, or I drew Fez and Shaman. So instead of 2 Abras, like one in the active, one in the bench, we end up with 1 here. You know, it is first turn, so they can't kill anything, which is great, right? So we would go over to our next turn. We drew a Dawn, which is awesome. We also couldn't use our supporter, because you can't use a supporter on the first turn. So sequencing is really important, right? We have like a Buddy Buddy in hand. That's pretty good. We have an energy that we will maybe put onto Abra if we can kill something this turn. A Dawn and a Dunsparce. So if we're sequencing this properly, I believe we're supposed to Dunsparce, Runaway Draw for 3, and then shuffle it back in. We drew a Hilda, which seems a lot better than Dawn here, because Hilda will get us an enriching energy and an evolution of any kind. So we could either go for Alakazam, or we could go for the Dunsparce again to get rid of this other Dunsparce to just try to naturally draw. We do have a Kadabra in hand, but we only have 1 Abra on bench. So evolving into Kadabra right now feels really bad, right? You don't want to do it if you don't have to. So I think what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to Great Ball and try to fish for an Alakazam. We're supposed to fish for a Zam here. Oh, that's a big whiff, dude. Stinky whiff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stinky whiff. No cards. You know, that actually doesn't feel so bad though, because at least we didn't like draw off the top with the Dunsparce and see those cards. Those probably would have pissed me off. I'm gonna be quite honest. So we whipped with a Great Ball. That kind of sucks balls. We're stuck with our supporter. Shaman has a retreat cost of 1. That also kind of sucks. So we're in a situation where if we naturally draw, we want to not lose to like an Iono, because we wouldn't be able to retreat and then also put an energy out, right? That kind of sucks. Pokemon's a funny game because sometimes you need like multiple turns to set up, and I think this is one of those hands. It doesn't feel that bad. Maybe I missequenced and I was indeed supposed to put an energy on the Shaman the first turn, so I'd be able to retreat with it. Like, let's say we did that. Let's say we weren't retarded, because I think that's what we were supposed to do. Because now we can retreat the Shaman. That was on it last turn. Let's say that. Shh, everyone quiet down. Quiet down. I didn't fuck up. I promise. I promise. So we could, with the Kadabra, we could Hilda. Hilda will search us any energy and an evolution Pokemon. So we'll get the Dunsparce, and we'll get enriching energy if it's not prized. Yeah, it's not prized, but that's good. That's awesome. That's sweet. Hell yeah, brother. If it was prized, we were so cooked. We were in like the worst possible situation. The worst possible situation. All right. We got the enriching energy, which kind of feels bad. I don't really want to use it, because what if like we still need a psychic energy? We do still need a psychic energy, right? So we would Dunsparce, Runaway Draw for 3. We got a rare, we got an Alakazam, and we got a boss's order. We can't use the boss's order because we've already healed it, right? That feels bad. But we do have rare candy into Abra, which is pretty good. So I think what we're supposed to do here is we're supposed to buddy first to thin deck. This is Pokemon. Pokemon is like massively about sequencing. I believe both of my other Abras are in prize. I do not see another Abra. I'm gonna kill myself. Okay, both of my Abras are in prize. I have 3 Abras total and 2 ended up in prize. That's pretty beast, man. Where's my other Dunsparces though? I think I drew them. No, here's one Dunsparce. Is it any Pokemon with 70 or less? Yeah, so I could get like a Bidoof here if I wanted to bring out, like, put the Shaman back and like let them kill the Bidoof but item lock them. But I really want to show you guys what happens when you like optimally kill a big Pokemon with Alakazam. So we're gonna have to try to go for the luck of the draw here, because now all we can do, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in hand. We're gonna go down to 8 with rare candy plus Alakazam, but then we'll go up to 11, which will let us kill it, something like a Fez, right? So if they have something, if they haven't finished evolving yet, this is 210, so we could probably kill a Fez here. So we'll go Alakazam, and then we'll Alakazam draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was right. I'm good at math. And then we would unfortunately have to retreat this. Oh no, we can only kill a 200 HP Pokemon, which isn't like the worst thing in the world, right? I guess on a turn like this, we would actually just Bidoof. I'm wrong. I would Bidoof, and then I would Itchy Pollen them for 2. It'd be 2 damage, and then they couldn't use items for a turn. So they can only use their supporter and like Pokemon abilities for a turn. This is very obviously gonna die because it only has 30 HP, which is like fine, I guess, right? And they would take a prize. We're in like a terrible spot because we still only have 1 Abra. We get to promote something here. You're supposed to technically always promote Dunsparce because it has free retreat. And I didn't put an energy on Alakazam last turn, which I should have, but I'll put it now. The reason why I didn't is because just in case, you know, let's say they have boss order and they just kill our Alakazam, it's 140 or something, right? Sequencing is so important in this game and just randomly really fucking annoyingly hard. We're supposed to Fez here, I think. Fez will let us draw 3. We have another Alakazam, but no Abra to put it on top of. Smile. And we have Alakazam as well. I can show you guys my prizes right now. I know for sure there's 2 Abras in here. I don't know what else is in here. Our 1 Tulip, 1 of our 3 Dunsparces, 2 Abras, a Great Ball, a Boss's Order, and a Tulip. So we got a 1 of, and then a couple 2 ofs, and our 3 of. Actually, I guess the Dunsparce is also a 3 of. That is unfortunate. But this turn, for sure, we can kill them or kill something, right? We would probably Dawn. Dawn would get us a stage 1, a stage 2, a stage... Oh, wait. Yeah, stage 3. Stage 2. No, that's not the stage 2 we want, unfortunately. We got stage 1, a stage 2, and a basic. There's our stage 2. Damn, this deck is very thin. This deck is also very susceptible to getting Ionoed. I got Ionoed in like one of the practice games I did before the tournament, and it felt awful. It made me want to cry. But like anything other than like Iono, when you already exhausted all your resources or didn't leave like Fez plus enriching energy on a Dunsparce, doesn't feel so bad. Like say you like have enriching energy on a Dunsparce already and you have Fez on the field and they kill something, you can probably almost always, if you haven't gone through all your Dawns or Hildas, you can almost always draw at least 7 cards that turn. And then you're just hoping to see the Zams or the Night Stretchers to get back the Zams and a rare candy. So we would runaway draw, ability, draw 3. And this is the part that feels really good, right? Oops. Draw 3. This is the part that feels like really good most of the time. Once you get to this portion of Zam, you have so many cards in hand. There's no... I don't think there's a single Pokemon in the game that Zam can't kill. If like your sequencing is good enough and you open an optimal hand. Because this is just the deck. Our hand is like the same size as the deck or some shit. We don't have to do anything else if we don't want to. Sequencing tells us we shouldn't. We've already used a Dawn. We have a bunch of supporters in hand. We have a Battle Cage, which I guess could be kind of important. But we don't need to use the Great Ball, the Nest Ball. We could probably put down the Psyduck. And the Dunsparce. And then we're not supposed to do like anything else. And that's a full bench again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We can kill almost anything in the game. And that's because we spent those 3 cards. If we hadn't, we could have dealt 360 instead of 300, right? So if you just know that you need to kill a 330 Pokemon, a 310 Pokemon, you just put down 2 less cards. You put down 1 less card. And that's the whole game plan of the deck. It's just like killing EXs and Megas for 3 or 2 prize turns while you're giving them 1 prize turns, hopefully. And it worked out. It was really fun. I want to learn other Pokemon decks too, which is why I'm on TCG Live right now, and that's the background music you're hearing, so that I can get a better understanding and feeling for the game. Because I have a feeling that Alakazam is kind of like a little bitch baby cheater deck. Like, I like Alakazam. He seems cool. But I don't think that this is the kind of deck that like properly teaches you about taking turns and prize trading in Pokemon. Because you're not really like, you're almost always one prizing. One prizing feels really good on your end, but like when it's happening to you, you're like, dude, I have to still sequence just as hard as this guy does just to kill something that's 140, and that feels bad. Like, they're going through all this bullshit to kill a 140, and I'm just like singing Payphone by Maroon 5, living my best life while they're, you know, they're not having the time of their life. So I guess we've showed off the deck. We've did like a test sequence of like 2 turns. I guess that was 3 turns rather. And that's Pokemon. That's the whole thing. And I think the coolest parts about Pokemon are that it's non-resource intensive while having a resource, right? You have the resource of 1 supporter per turn, no early game evolutions, or the restriction of no evolution on the turn you play a Pokemon, and energy. 1 energy per turn, just like 1 land per turn in Magic the Gathering. Everything else is pretty free flow, pretty flowing. There's no real interaction from your opponent until their turn. It's a very solitaire game, which feels really weird coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where there's so many hand traps and there's a bunch of disruptive cards that your opponent can use during your turn, where it feels like it's your turn, but instead it's Russia, it's our turn, comrade. I like that. I like that a lot. It's really cool. And mapping out multiple turns at a time feels really good. Yu-Gi-Oh! You can't really do that because the game's over so fast. It's usually over by turn 3, turn 4 at the most. Pokemon, it's not meant to be that short. It's meant to be significantly faster, significantly slower. Even with a bunch of EXs around and a bunch of Megas around, where you can take 3 prizes or 2 prize, 2 prize, 2 prize, double 3 prize or triple 2 prize, 3 turns at most. You almost always need 1 to 2 extra turns on top to set up. So let's say earliest turn 5. Most games are really truly determined. But the sequencing in how you get to that feels really rewarding and fun. It feels really fun. I was doing like some sequences at the Pokemon local tournament I went to, and people were like, hey, like, whoa, your sequencing's really good. Are you sure you've never played Pokemon before? My answer was no, I've never. I played 1 practice game before we started this tournament today. I just finished sleeving up the deck. What do you mean, right? And that comes from Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of that sequencing, like knowing to search before you draw it, if in the deck, knowing to play non-hard once per turns before your hard once per turn, so that if there's a stronger once per turn, you don't lock yourself out of that by using the weaker ones per turn, supporters, essentially. Bumping stadiums, knowing when and how to bump a stadium, using the effect of a stadium that works for you, right? Like, say my opponent plays an Artisan, but I have a Battle Cage. Awesome, I'll use your Artisan first, and then I'll bump your Artisan off, and hope you have to have that. Make you have to have another one, right? If you don't have another one, now we're under Battle Cage. You don't get to Artisan again. I stole your Artisan. We both went +1 off. It's very cool. Like, interactions like that feel good. And the floodgates / non-interrupt, like interactive or like controlling cards don't feel so bad. Bidoof, annoying, not super annoying. Mist Energy, annoying, not super annoying. Mega Absol, annoying, very annoying actually. It's a huge fucking body and discards the card from you. And I actually hate Mega Absol, but it's one of my favorite Pokemon, so I'll probably try to squeeze it in some sort of like a dark Gengar fusion mix deck of some kind. And what else am I thinking of? Battle Stadium, Psyduck, right? Shaman, cards like that are like Floodgate styled cards. They don't feel nearly as frustrating and obnoxious to deal with as Floodgate styled cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering, right? Like a Blood Moon is really annoying. Authority of the Consuls is very annoying. Cards like that, they don't feel fun to play against. But most of the Floodgate styled cards in Pokemon I wasn't too upset about. Knowing that you have 60 cards in your deck and you have the propensity to sequence your way into an answer doesn't feel bad, especially when cards like Arven exist, would just get you a free item, right? They just get you an item. That's neat. I think it's a Poke Tool and an item. badass. Cool. I can just immediately get my enhancing hammer and kill that mist energy and maybe get rid of your Pokemon. Or counter catcher and swap your Pokemon out. You'll worry about that mist energy later, but take my 2 prize turn this turn or 3 prize turn this turn to some other mega you left unprotected on the bench. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I like that feeling, and that's like the best things about Pokemon. I think I can really only name like 2 negatives of Pokemon. 2. Stage 2 decks feel really bad. Sometimes you just draw the wrong half of your deck in a stage 2 deck going first, and you have to mulligan. And you have to have a basic, or you have to mulligan. You don't have a choice, even if you have a Nest Ball in hand, if you have a Great Ball in hand, if you have a Buddy Buddy Poffin, doesn't matter. If you don't have an actual basic to start the game, you cannot keep that hand. You have to mulligan. Mulliganing gives your opponent a card. You don't go down a card. Your opponent goes up a card. That's the first thing I don't like. And now the problem is, if you could let everyone choose the basic that they start with, they're always going to start with their most impactful basic. I'm going to start with Fan Rotom every time. I'm not even gonna start with Abra. I'm gonna start with fucking Fan Rotom, brother. Like, I'm gonna be so thorough with you. And I don't think that's okay. I think letting people do that means they're gonna start with Pidgey so they can rare candy into Pidgeot, search literally any card in the game. It would get a little degenerate really fast. I don't really have a full answer / solution for it. It just kind of feels bad, but it's part of the game. Whatever. The other thing that I dislike about Pokemon, and it's like a narrow dislike, it's like a engine requirement thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Like has a lot of these. They're called bricks / engine requirements. Pokemon also has them, right? I think knowing that you need to go through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 index like this, perfect example. Or prizing all 3 of your one specific card. Prizing. I don't like the prizing system. I think taking 6 prizes out of your main deck and putting them into your prize zone feels fucking awful. Because sometimes, just like that game where I wanted to set up double Abra turn 1, you will prize 2 Abras. I had a game where I prized 2 Abras and I lost because I could not set up double Abra to set up Alakazam early. I had 2 rare candies, an Alakazam and a Kadabra in hand. I could have set up double Abra, did the natural bridge of 1 with the Kadabra, and straight up got to Alakazam with the other, and replaced the cards I used, putting down the rare candy and the Alakazam off of the Kadabra. So it would have been like an actual draw 5 on top of enriching energy plus the Dunsparce. It would have been a great turn, but I prized 2 Abras, and that feels bad. That feels awful. I think there should just be prize cards. Like, you just print prize cards in packs. There's like 5 of them per set, 6 of them per set. You can have up to 4 of the same prize card, and you get to like make your little prize deck, almost like a side deck in something like Yu-Gi-Oh! But you have to earn those prizes, right? And you can't make them super duper powerful because you will almost always get to some number of prizes. You can't make them like Buku, Bonkers, Busted, but you could probably make them weaker or more restricted versions of already played meta items or played meta supporters with more restrictions, but they're not supporters and they're prizes. You can only activate 1 prize card per turn. Very easy solution. This game's very old, so that's just not going to happen. But that's just how my brain thinks. I think, how can I fix the system that I fucking hate? Because it feels bad when I go to look for a prize card. I go to look for a card that hoses the matchup. I go to look for my Psyduck. I go to look for my Shaman, and it's in prize. I Nest Ball for my Fez to draw 3 cards. It's in prize. Worst come to worst, worst case scenario, you are playing a deck like Alakazam, where you need your Zams. It's the only attacker in the deck. What if this hasn't happened yet? I've had two Zams prize before, but what if I just prized all 3 Zams one game? How do I play? I have to like Fan Rotom, double poke something, hope to kill it, and then hope the prize I get out of the 6, because there's 6 prizes, 3 of them are Zams. I hope the 50-50 is a Zam, brother, and then I can get the fucking game started, because otherwise you basically lose games like that. Those become non-games, and that doesn't feel good. I think that's like my biggest gripe with Pokemon, is just the prizing system feels awful. It has the propensity to create more non-games than games, and that's pretty bad. That's really bad. Other than that, I think Pokemon's great. It's really cool, super fun. The community was relatively welcoming. Everyone helped me like pick up or find cards very well, whether they charged me for them or not. Like I said, shout out my homie B. She gave me almost all of the Zamcore, like almost all of it. Right, I was missing maybe 10 cards. That's friendship right there. You know, trying to get you addicted to cardboard crack. Great friends I have. Anyways, so that's my rundown of me playing Pokemon for the first time. The deck I used. Am I going to keep playing it? Yeah, I think so. Am I going to be trying even more decks? Absolutely. Will I be playing Pokemon TCG Live? I don't know. We'll see how good this fucking client is, because that is the next thing we're going to do right now, is we're going to boot up and play some Pokemon TCG Live. So if you watched all this, if you listen to me yap for like 40 minutes about the Pokemon TCG coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! And how I feel about it, thanks. I appreciate it. I haven't posted a YouTube video in a long time, so this will probably just go straight onto the YouTube, I guess. No edits, No nothing. You'll get to watch a Pokemon Noob sequence his cards, a Pokemon Noob do a deck tech, deck list, deck profile, whatever the fuck you guys call them. And yeah, check out the stream sometime. You might catch me playing Pokemon TCG live. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTubes. Asking for a like, asking for a subscribe, brother. There's no way I'm getting to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. I haven't uploaded in months. It's my fault. I've just been enjoying video games, enjoying life, enjoying card games. But we'll try to get back on the at least once a week upload train. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTubes, talking about the Pokemon trading card game coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! Signing out and saying peace.